The Hours of the Passion of Our Lord Jesus Christ by Luisa Piccarreta. 10 a.m., Jesus takes up the cross and sets out for Calvary, where he is stripped of his garments. My Jesus, your love is never satisfied. I see that you can take no rest. I hear your yearnings of love and your sorrows. Your heart pounds violently. In every beat I hear bursts, tortures, and raptures of love. Unable to contain the fire that consumes you, you become anxious. You groan and sigh. And in every groan I hear you say, "Cross." Every drop of your blood repeats, "Cross." You swim in the unending sea of all your pains, which repeat among themselves, "Cross, cross." And you exclaim, "O beloved and longed for cross, you alone will save my children. In you I place all my love." Second crowning of thorns. And so, my love, as much as I try to calm you and give you rest, it is all useless, seeing that your enemies force you back into the praetorium. They strip off the purple mantle, wanting to dress you again in your own clothes. But oh, what pain! It would be sweeter for me to die than to see you suffer so. Your clothing clings to your crown, and they cannot remove it. With cruelty never seen before, they tear off your clothing and your crown. With their cruel tearing, many thorns break and remain lodged in your most sacred head. Blood runs down your face in little streams, making you groan. But your enemies pay no heed to your tortures. They put your clothes back on you and drive the crown back on your head by force. The thorns enter your eyes and your ears. Every inch of your most holy head feels the wounds. Your pain is so great that you stagger under those cruel hands. You tremble from head to foot. You seem about to die from the violent spasms. With your feeble, blood-filled eyes, you strain to look at me and to ask me to help you in your great suffering. O Jesus, King of sorrows, let me support you. Let me press you to my heart. I want to take the fire that consumes you, to reduce your enemies to ashes and set you free, but you do not want it, because your longings for the cross become more ardent. You want to immolate yourself upon the cross immediately, even for your very enemies. As I press you to my heart, you press me to yours, and you say, "My child, let me pour out my love. Make reparation with me for those who dishonor me with their good deeds. These Jews dress me in my clothes to discredit me even more before the people and to convince them that I am a criminal. The act of dressing me seemed good, but it was actually evil. Oh, how many do good works, administer sacraments, and receive them with human or evil intentions. To do evil under the guise of doing good hardens men's hearts. So I want to be crowned a second time with greater torment than before, to shatter these hard hearts. I want to draw them to me with my thorns. Oh, my child, this second coronation hurts me much more than the first. I feel my head swimming in thorns. At every movement that I make, and at every shove that they give me, I suffer cruel deaths. In this way I make reparation for the malicious sins that offend me. I do all on behalf of mankind, and I make reparation for souls of every state who squander their will and reject my grace, rather than being concerned with their own sanctification. These souls return to give me even more piercing thorns. They make me groan. I weep tears of blood, and I long for their salvation. Oh, I do everything to love them, and creatures do everything to offend me. Please, at least you, do not leave me alone in my pains and reparations. Jesus takes the cross. My tortured Jesus, I make reparation and suffer with you. I watch your enemies push you down the stairs, while the mob awaits you with eager fury. At once you find the cross you seek with great longing, already prepared. You look at it with love, and with deliberate steps you go to embrace it. But first you kiss it, and a thrill of joy surges through your most holy humanity. With supreme satisfaction, you look at the cross and measure its length and width. You met out a portion of the cross for every creature. You give all souls enough of the cross to bind them to your divinity with a nuptial bond, and to make them heirs of the kingdom of heaven. Unable to contain the love with which you love them, you kiss the cross again and tell it, "Adorable cross, I embrace you at last. You were the desire of my heart, the martyrdom of my love. O cross, you lingered until now. My steps have always been oriented to you, but they became tired because you did not reveal yourself. Holy cross, you formed the goal of my desires and the purpose of my existence here below. In you I center my whole being. In you I place all my children. You will be their life and their light, their defense, their guard, and their strength. You will come to their aid in everything and lead them gloriously to me in heaven. O cross, cathedra of wisdom, you alone will teach true sanctity. You alone will form heroes, athletes, martyrs, and saints. Beautiful cross, you form my throne, and since I must depart from the earth, you will remain in my place. As dowry, I give you all souls. Keep them for me. Save them for me. I entrust them to you." As you speak, you anxiously receive the cross on your most holy shoulders. Oh, my Jesus, the cross is too light for your love, but the enormous weight of our sins add to the weight of the cross. A weight as enormous and immense as the expanse of the heavens. My overwhelmed Jesus, you feel crushed by the weight of so many sins. Your soul recoils in horror at the sight of them, and you feel the pain of each sin. The spectacle of so much ugliness assaults your sanctity. You already stagger and gasp as you take the cross on your shoulders. A mortal sweat drips from your most sacred flesh. Oh, my love, I do not have the heart to leave you alone. I want to share the weight of the cross with you. To relieve you of the weight of our sins, I embrace your feet. In the name of all creatures, I want to love you for those who do not love you, praise you for those who despise you, bless, thank, and obey you for everyone. When anyone offends you, I want to offer you my whole being to make reparation to you. I want to oppose my acts to the offenses creatures commit against you. I want to repay you with my kisses and my continuous acts of love. But I see that I am too miserable. I need you to truly make reparation to you. So I unite myself to your most holy humanity. Together with you, I unite my thoughts to yours to make reparation for my evil thoughts and for those of all other souls. I unite my eyes to yours. to atone for all evil glances. I unite my mouth to yours to atone for all blasphemies and evil conversations. I unite my heart to yours to make reparation for evil tendencies, desires, and affections. In a word, I want to participate in all that your most holy humanity does by uniting myself to the immensity of your love for everyone and to the immense good that you do for everyone. But I am still not satisfied. I want to unite myself to your divinity, to disperse this nothingness of mine in it, and in this way to give you everything. I give you your love to make up for your suffering. I give you your heart to comfort you for our coldness, stubbornness, ingratitude, and lack of love for others. I give you your harmonies to heal your ears of the effects of the deafening blasphemies you receive. I give you your beauty to make up for the ugliness of our souls when I and others soil them with sin. I give you your purity to console you for the lack of right intention and for the impurity that you see in so many souls. I give you your immensity to free you from your sorrow over the snares in which souls freely entrap themselves. I give you your fervor to burn away the sins of all hearts, so that everyone may love you and no one may offend you again. In a word, I offer you all that you are, to give you infinite satisfaction and eternal, immense, and infinite love. My most patient Jesus, I see that you take your first steps under the enormous weight of the cross. I unite my steps to yours, and when you are weak, bleeding, wavering, and about to fall, I will be at your side to bear you up. I will put my shoulders under the cross to share its weight with you. Do not reject me, but accept me as your faithful friend. Still, O Jesus, you look at me and you make reparation for those who refuse to carry their crosses with resignation. Instead, they rage, curse, murder, and commit suicide. You obtain love and resignation for everyone towards his cross. But this costs you so much sorrow that you feel crushed beneath the cross. You have taken but the first steps, and already you fall under it. You strike against the rocks, and your thorns dig into the cross. Your wounds become more painful and pour forth more blood. Seeing that your arm is tied to the cross, you cannot pull yourself up. So your enemies grow angry. They try to force you to your feet with kicks and shoves. My fallen love, permit me to help you to your feet, to kiss you, and to dry your blood. Let us make reparation for those who sin through ignorance, frailty, or weakness. I beg you to help these souls. Jesus, my life, your enemies force you to your feet with unspeakable cruelty. As you stagger on, I hear your labored breath. Your heart pounds harder. New intense pains pierce it. You shake your head to clear your eyes of the blood and look anxiously around. Oh, my Jesus, now I understand. You see your mother, who like a mournful dove comes looking for you. She wants to say a last word to you and to look into your eyes one last time. You feel her pain, and her heart is lacerated in yours. You feel moved to compassion and wounded by your mutual love. Now you see her making her way through the mob. At any cost, she wants to see you, embrace you, and give you her last goodbye. The sight of her deathly pallor and the effects of your pains reproduced in her by love pierce your heart. If she lives, it is only by a miracle of your omnipotence. You walk towards her, but only with difficulty can you look at each other. Your hearts ravish and wound each other. The soldiers see this and separate you with blows and shoves to keep mother and son from saying a last goodbye. In your mutual anguish, sorrow paralyzes your mother. She is about to faint, but faithful John and the pious women hold her up. You again fall under the cross. And what your sorrowful mother does not do with her body, because she is prevented, she does with her soul. She enters into you and fuses her will with the will of the Eternal Father. Searching into all of your pains, she acts as a mother toward you. She kisses you, makes reparation to you, and soothes you, pouring the balm of her sorrowful love on all your wounds. My suffering Jesus, I too unite with your pierced mother. I search into all your pains, in every drop of your blood, and in every wound, acting as a mother to you. With you and your mother, I make reparation for all morally risky encounters, for those who expose themselves needlessly to occasions of sin, and for those who expose themselves out of necessity and fall into sin. Meanwhile, you fall under the cross and you moan. The soldiers fear that you will die under the weight of so many martyrdoms and from the loss of so much blood that it soaks the ground when you fall, and they will not be able to satisfy their wickedness by crucifying you. With lashes and kicks, they force you to your feet. In this way, you make reparation for our repeated falls into sin and for the grave sins committed by every class of people. You pray for obstinate sinners and weep tears of blood for their conversion. My exhausted love, while I follow you in your reparations, I see you can no longer bear the enormous weight of the cross. You tremble from head to foot and receive continual blows which force the thorns even more deeply into your sacred head. With its crushing weight, the cross penetrates your shoulder, forms a deep wound, and exposes the bone. At every step you seem to die. It is impossible for you to go on, but your omnipotent love gives you strength. As you feel the cross penetrate your shoulder, you atone for hidden sins, sins which have not been satisfied for, concealed sins which increase the bitterness of your torments. My Jesus, permit me to put my shoulder under the cross to relieve you and to make reparation with you for all hidden sins. Fearful that you will die under your load, robbing them of the satisfaction of crucifying you, your enemies force Simon the Cyrenian to help you carry the cross. Unwilling and grumbling, he helps you, not out of love, but under duress, and your heart is filled with new pains at the sight. In your heart echo all the complaints of those who suffer, their lack of resignation, rebelliousness, anger, and scorn in the midst of their sufferings. But you are much more deeply grieved at seeing that souls consecrated to you, souls whom you call as companions and partners in your suffering, flee from you. If you draw them to yourself through suffering, they break away from your arms to search for pleasures, leaving you to suffer alone. My Jesus, while I make reparation with you, I beg you to squeeze me in your arms so tightly that I may participate in every one of your pains for souls, so that I can transform myself into these souls and repay you for the abandonment of your creatures. My exhausted Jesus, with great difficulty you walk, all hunched over. I see you stop and try to open your eyes. My heart, what is it? What do you want? Ah, it is fearless Veronica, who courageously offers you a cloth to wipe your bloody face. You lovingly take the cloth and wipe your face, imprinting on it the image of your most holy face. My generous Jesus, I too want to dry you, not with a cloth, but by offering my whole being to relieve you. I want to enter into your interior, my Jesus, and give you heartbeat for heartbeat, breath for breath, feeling for feeling, and desire for desire. I want to cast myself into your most holy mind. I want to make all these heartbeats, breaths, affections, and desires flow in the immensity of your will and multiply to the infinite. Oh, my Jesus, I want to form waves of heartbeats so that no evil heartbeat may sound in your heart, so that I may soothe all of your interior bitterness. I want to form waves of affections and desires to drive off all the evil affections and desires that could sadden your heart in the least. I want to form waves of breaths and of thoughts to ward off any breath or thought that could displease you. I will be on guard, O Jesus, so that nothing else may afflict you or add new bitterness to your interior pains. O my Jesus, make my interior swim in the immensity of yours. In this way I will find the love and the will to defend your heart from any evil love or desire that could displease you. O my Jesus, to be more sure of our union, I pray you to seal my thoughts with your thoughts, my will with your will, and my desires with your desires. I pray you to seal my affections and my heartbeats with yours, so that they may draw life only from you. O my Jesus, I pray you to accept the offering of my poor body, torn to pieces out of love for you, reduced to minute particles. I will place them on each one of your wounds. O Jesus, on the wound that makes you suffer for all blasphemies, I want to place the particles of my body. May they always say, I bless you. O Jesus, on the wound that makes you suffer for all acts of ingratitude, I want to place a part of my rent body to prove my and everyone's gratitude to you. O Jesus, on the wound that makes you suffer so much for our coldness and lack of love, I want to place many particles of my torn flesh to tell you always, I love you, I love you, I love you. On the wound that makes you suffer for so many acts of irreverence and rudeness toward your most sacred body, I want to place a piece of my flesh to tell you always, I adore you, I adore you, I adore you. Oh, my Jesus, I want to diffuse myself everywhere, in those wounds made worse by the unbelief of so many souls. I want the particles of my body to tell you always, I believe in you, my Jesus, my God. I believe in your holy church. I want to lay down my life to prove my faith in you. Oh, my Jesus, I plunge myself into the immensity of your will. Making it mine, I want to make up for everyone. I want to enclose all souls in the power of your most holy will. Oh, Jesus, I still have my blood, and I want to pour it out on your wounds as balm to soothe you and to heal you completely. Oh Jesus, I want to make my thoughts flow in the thoughts of all sinners. I want to rebuke them continuously so that they may not dare to offend you. I pray you with the voices of your blood to call everyone to surrender to my poor prayers. In this way, I will carry them to your heart. Oh, my Jesus, I ask for another grace. I ask that in all that I see, touch, and feel, I may always see, touch, and feel you. Grant that your most holy image and your most holy name be always impressed on every particle of my poor being. Meanwhile, your enemies look with contempt at Veronica's deed. They whip you, shove you, and drive you on. A few more steps and you stop. The weight of such great suffering cannot crush your love. You see the pious women who weep over your pains, and you forget yourself. You console them by calling them daughters, and you tell them, do not weep for my suffering, rather weep for your sins and those of your children. What a sublime lesson. How gentle is your word. O Jesus, with you I make reparation for every lack of charity, and I ask you for the grace to make me forget myself, so that I may remember you alone. As your enemies hear you speak, they feel challenged and fly into a rage. They jerk you with their ropes and shove you so angrily that they make you fall. You strike against the rocks. The weight of the cross crushes you. You feel you are dying. Permit me to support you. Let me protect your most holy face with my hands. I see you touch the ground and gasp in your blood. But your enemies want you to stand up. They pull you with their ropes. They lift you by your hair. They kick you, but all in vain. You are dying, my Jesus. What sadness. My heart breaks for sorrow. Practically dragging you, they lead you to Mount Calvary. While they drag you, I see you make reparation for all the sins of souls consecrated to you. Their sins weigh you down so much that you cannot stand no matter how hard you try. Finally, dragged and trampled, you reach Calvary, leaving red traces of your precious blood wherever you pass. Jesus is stripped and crowned with thorns for a third time. New suffering awaits you here. They strip you again, tearing off your garments and the crown of thorns. You groan as you feel the thorns torn from your head. As they tear off your clothes, they rip the torn flesh that clings to them. Your wounds tear open. Your blood flows to the ground in little streams, and your pain is so great that you fall almost dead to the ground. But no one takes pity on you, my Jesus. With bestial fury, they put the crown of thorns back on your head and beat it in firmly. Only the angels could say what you suffer from your cruel lacerations and from the bloody tearing of your hair. Horrified, they turn away their heavenly gazes and they weep. My stripped Jesus, let me take you on my lap. Let me press you to my heart to warm you. I see that you tremble and that a cold, mortal sweat spreads over your most holy body. How I would love to give my life and blood in place of yours, which you have lost to give me life. Shaken by my voice, with languid, dying eyes, Jesus looks at me and says, "My child, how much souls cost me. Here I wait for everyone to save them and to make reparation with them for the sins of those who degrade themselves below the beasts, who persist in offending me to the point of being unable to live without committing sin. Their reason becomes blinded and they sin without restraint. For this reason they crown me with thorns a third time. By being stripped, I make reparation for those who wear luxurious or indecent clothing. I atone for sins against modesty, and for those who are so bound to riches, honors, and pleasures that they make a god of them in their hearts, while refusing to recognize their Creator. Yes, each of these offenses is a death that I feel, and if I do not die, it is because my eternal Father has willed that my time has not yet come. My stripped Jesus, I make reparation with you, and I pray you to take your most holy hands and strip me of everything. Do not permit any evil thing to enter my heart. Watch over it for me, surround it with your sorrows, and fill it with your love until it burns and no longer partakes of earthly things. Let my life be only a repetition of your life, and confirm my being stripped of everything with your blessing. Bless me with your heart, and give me the strength to be present at your sorrowful crucifixion, to be crucified with you. Reflection for the 10 a.m. hour. Jesus carries his cross. Jesus' love for the cross and his eager desire to die on it to save souls were immense. But do I love suffering like Jesus? Can I say that my heartbeats form the echo of his divine heartbeats, and that I too ask for the cross? When I suffer, do I have the intention of keeping Jesus company and of lightening the burden of his cross? How do I accompany him? With respect to the insults he receives, am I ready to offer him a hand, to lift him up, and give him my small sufferings to ease his pain? Are my eyes always fixed on Jesus, that I may wipe his mortal sweat and the blood pouring from his wounds, like an inseparable companion who never leaves him? As I work, pray, and experience the weight of the intense pain and adversity of my suffering, do I allow my suffering to soar to Jesus, to refresh him like a veil, wiping away his sweat? Do I make his difficulties my own? Oh, my Jesus, always call me to be at your side, and grant that you may always remain by me, walking with me through the whole sad pilgrimage of this life. Soar with me up the holy mountain of your will, for you want me to reach it, and there we shall rest together. Grant that my pains and yours may always merge, so that we hold each other as I continuously wipe the blood that pours from your most holy wounds.